Hello, my name is Luke Altamar, and what you see around you is Wiggins Lake. Wiggins Lake is the impoundment of the Cedar River as it meanders through Gladwin County and ends in Gladwin, Michigan. The lake owes its existence to Chapel Dam. Chapel Dam was created by the Consumers Power Company in 1910 for hydroelectric generation, but was decommissioned in 1961. But it left us with this beautiful all-sports lake. But there's a problem. I have to show you something. Come with me, and I want to show you what I'm talking about. Hidden at the back of South Bay of Wiggins Lake is the entrance to Turtle Bay. About 4 to 5 acres of pure Michigan at its best. At least it used to be. This shallow, quiet place has about a dozen residents. But that's just the human population. The bay is filled with turtles, fish, birds, muskrat, mink, crayfish, and 2 small islands, which this summer is the home to a nesting pair of green herons. The bay has an average depth of about 5 feet, with warm to cool temperature characteristics. In other words, it's one of the most amazing natural fish nurseries I have ever seen. Shortly after the spring ice melt, the bay is invaded by thousands of crappie looking for warmer water and a place to spawn. Bluegill, sunfish, shiners follow the crappie. Not long after that, Wiggins Lake's most popular residents arrive, the largemouth bass. The male bass can be seen all around the perimeter of the bay, fanning the silt away from the bottom, trying to create an attractive bed to entice the females, who arrive shortly after the males. This is in April and May, and many an angler tries his or her best to catch and release a lunker bass. When the bass finally leave, the carp arrive in June and July. The carp put on a spectacular show, sometimes splashing and racing around the bay all night long. They can really make a ruckus. Pike are also present, hunting for bluegill and perch. It's truly an amazing place. But even though everything seems well in Turtle Bay, you have to look below the surface, literally, because that's where the problem is. Aquatic vegetation is common to the lake, and for extended periods of time can reach nuisance levels. Invasive species like Eurasian milfoil, bladderwort, chara are abundant. The Lake Owners Association tries to combat the weeds with chemicals like copper sulfate, Roundup, Navigate, and many others. When the chemicals are applied, the weeds die, and within a week or two, they drop to the bottom of the bay where they begin to rot. The toxic combination of chemicals, methane from the rotting vegetation, makes it nearly impossible for the larger fish to stay in the bay, and most leave for cleaner water. Only the hardiest fish remain. Included in that is bluegill, bullhead catfish, and carp. This process has repeated itself for decades. The rotting vegetation and sediments from the runoff of a local farm have proven to be a real problem for defenseless Turtle Bay. Of the 5 feet of water in the bay, on average, half of it is stinking methane and chemical-laden muck. And one thing muck is good for is growing more weeds. When the weed killer wears off, the weeds return with a vengeance, and the spray, kill, rot cycle begins all over again. This is what's happening to our bay right now. You can even see the algae starting to bloom again as the chemicals are wearing off. I want to show you what happens and what you're left with after the spray, kill, rot cycle of Turtle Bay. This is what you're left with. Not a very pleasant environment, is it? There's so much muck and chemicals that fewer and fewer fish seem to return each year. There are precious few places left where the bass can make their beds. The invasive weeds return earlier, faster, and more prolific each season. This once pristine nursery is dying a slow and agonizing death. If the weed killing program were to stop, the weeds would fill in so fast it would be impossible to paddle a canoe through them. Fishing would be impossible, and before long even the fish would not survive. So what do we do? What can we do? It depends on whom you talk to. Some believe the bay should be left alone and let nature take its course. I believe that we can return the bay to its former pristine state with a carefully planned dredging and maintenance project. The residents here, we've tried aeration bubblers, we've tried friendly bacteria bombs, and of course spraying. None of it's worked. The problem just keeps getting worse and worse. It's taken over 100 years for it to get to this point. With a carefully planned dredging and maintenance project, we can preserve this for another 100 years. If we can dredge the bay, replace the bottom muck with sand and gravel, install a silt trap for the farmer's runoff, we can make a real dent in the problem. It's up to you and to us, but we need your help. Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be cool to be a part of taking care of something like this and preserving this? We hope that you do, and we hope that you will. And here's how you can do it. Hi, thanks for watching our video about Turtle Bay. You might ask why I'm doing this. We tried to get funding from the state of Michigan, and we called Debbie Stabenow's office. And they were very kind, but they informed us that funding for dredging projects through the federal government could take as long as 9 years. I don't have 9 years. We called the DNR's office at the recommendation of Debbie Stabenow's office, and apparently there were some funds allocated for dredging in Michigan, but apparently that's all used up, or we're not a major shipping channel. We called the Drain Commission in Gladwin, and they were very nice to begin with, but lately they haven't been returning my calls or emails, so I think they've lost interest. What we're trying to do is raise enough money to clean Turtle Bay. I came up with this idea. We're going to raffle off this chair for $1. Each dollar represents 1 drop of clean water for Turtle Bay. Once we hit 1,500 drops, we're going to pull a winner out of the hat, and they'll own this chair for $1. It's a little thing. I'm not trying to save a child, or I'm not trying to save an abandoned animal, but the bay is a living place, and we'd like to take care of it. So if you can read about this or see the video again at saveturtlebay.com, or you can email me at lunkerluke@mi.rr.com. Please make a contribution. I'd love for you to have this chair. Once this one's given away, I'll build another and another and another till we reach our goals. We need hundreds of thousands of drops of fresh, clean water for Turtle Bay. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.